So I'm going to blast through this part on sugar. Once again, I'll go in more depth when you come to the sugar and fats class, but I'm just going to blast through this. Follow with me. You don't need to write notes on this. Just follow with me because you'll see how this paints a picture. Number one, you got to understand that the average American consumes 150 pounds of sugar a year. That's up from just 4 pounds 100 years ago. You want to know why Jimmy Stewart looked thin? You want to know why Marilyn Monroe had a 17-inch waist? Or not Marilyn Monroe, Mary Tyler Moore? They weren't eating all the sugar. I mean, as simple as that. They just weren't blasting down as much sugar. So what you need to appreciate is excess sugar in the body will kill you. It will kill you. Ask any diabetic. It will kill you. And it will kill you by eating your body alive slowly. Right? It'll kill your joints. It'll kill your pancreas. It'll kill your heart. It'll kill your blood vessels. It'll kill your tissues. If they turn gangrene, because now your immune system's dead, your body can't fight infection, then we just start cutting off limbs. That's reality. 1 teaspoon of sugar in your blood, 1 teaspoon of sugar dissolved in your blood will signal your pancreas to release insulin. Okay? Insulin tells the muscle and the liver to turn that sugar into a form of burnable fuel called glycogen. It's enough for you to use for about 1 day's worth of activity. And when I say activity, I'm not talking sitting on your butt doing data entry activity. I'm talking running away from grizzly bears, climbing trees to eat fruit activity. Okay? So it stores this stuff, and if you're not using it, you rapidly get saturated. Yes? Make sense? Because you're not using it. So what happens is, once our glycogen storage is maxed, the sugars are then converted into fat. And that has to happen 100% of the time. Or you get what's called diabetes. Your body can't pee it off or poop it out. If you excrete sugar, you're already a full-blown diabetic. Does that make sense? So it has to turn it into fat. So right off the bat, what makes you fat? Is it fat? No, it's what? It's sugar. Okay? So we start storing fat, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Feast or famine, it's good to have some storage. The insulin stops the mobilization and the burning of fats. When you release insulin, you stop burning fat. That's important. It stops you from burning fat. So not only is storing more, it's selectively saying, let's not burn our savings. Right? It's the famine IRA, right? The famine 401k, right? Circulating fats signal a hormone called leptin to be released by your fat cells, and what those do is they signal your brain to stop eating. Okay? They signal your brain to stop eating. And if everything's right, you get to a certain saturation point, you're no longer hungry. So you stop eating. You would be at the bush and you'd be picking berries and go, there's more berries, but I'm done. I'm good. Right? So understand this, that the sugar is for the instant boost. It's for the glycogen. The fat is for the periods of famine. The reality is, most people can't even go without a meal. A meal. Nonetheless, a day without food. They're freaking out. They are freaking out. I ask people, it's like, so why'd you cave in and go through the fast food? They go, oh man, I forgot to bring my lunch. So skip it. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. It's like, my friend, you've got enough storage. You're good. I mean, you could probably outdo Jesus. Shoot for 45, 50 days. I think you're good. But our brain is going, I'm starving. I don't have the necessary nutrients, and because I've got all this fat storage, my leptin is not kicking out anymore. I can't burn it. My brain thinks I don't have any energy. See how this, now you know, no wonder it's so hard. Look, it is hard. You're trying to fight, a perfect creation or billions of years of evolution. Either way, it's a losing battle. You're going to have to use consciousness to fix it. Prayer and fasting, right? That's what he said. But we keep consuming the sugar. So the excess sugar or insulin burns out the insulin receptors in the muscle, and then in the liver, and then in the adipose. And that's what we call insulin-resistant diabetes. Right? Insulin resistance comes first. Then the muscle begins to digest itself. It says, I don't have any available fuel, even though it's laying all around. Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink, right? Fat everywhere, but not a calorie to burn. So it starts shooting the horses. It's starving. So you start digesting your own protein. So then you start getting kidney stones and gallstones, and right? So then the liver becomes fatty. The gallbladder clogs up, and we go get our gallbladder yanked out in younger and younger and younger people. The pancreas burns out, which turns into pancreatitis, which turns into pancreatic cancer, which kills everybody. I don't understand. There it is. I just mapped it for you. And we've known this for at least 50 years. And yet none of the advice we get through our hospitals, the AMA, the nutrition councils, anything like that maps it for us. We should understand this and be able to explain it to anyone. It's so important to our very survival. Once insulin receptors burn out, the sugar turns into caramel. This is called glycalization, right? How do you make caramel, right? A little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, a little bit of sugar, and you cook it. What's that called? A little bit of fat, a little bit of sugar, and all these digested amino acids from your body consuming its own proteins. And you get caramel. You get caramel in your joints, right? And what happens is your body perceives that as a foreign invader, and you start attacking yourself. Right? And you start eating your own joints. The excess insulin inflames the arteries, the joints, and the other tissues. The caramel builds up in the inflamed tissues, and the white blood cells attack you. Heart disease, cancer, arthritis, and a host of other chronic diseases are the result. Make sense? So you can keep buying the inconvenient truth, or you can just keep going into watching the reassuring lie. Oh, it's not you, it's your genetics. Oh, I know, everyone struggles. Then die. Get over it. It sucks, but it's fixable. Unless you want to keep going and seeing the same story. You want to keep hearing the same story? So be it.